welcome back to the Jet Press Podcast. My name is Justin Fried, and I'm joined as always by my good friend.
Well, at least put the collar down.
I didn't even realize it was up. I'm not gonna lie. This was very hastily thrown on. For those who don't know what's going on right now, the Woodies are back. Our little biannual award show that we do here on the show, and I wanted to spice it up a little bit. I guess if you're an audio listener, you have no idea what's going on right now. I'm wearing a suit at the moment. Well, half a suit. I'm wearing shorts.
I'm naked underneath, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I have nothing on under. I'm Winnie the Poohing a suit right now. But no, we got the Woodies. The Woodies are back, and I'm very, very excited. Mike, I don't know if you are excited, but I am. This is one of.
I feel slightly underdressed now because of this.
You had about 10 minutes to throw something on if you wanted to. I didn't give you that much.
Well, actually, I'm in transit, so I don't have all my clothes at the spot I'm at now.
You could have put something on. But no, I'm very, very excited. This is one of my favorite shows that we do. We're going to be doing a little bit of a Midseason Awards. Thank you. Armand is amazing, said Justin, looking sharp. I appreciate that. So we were...
No Mike looking sharp. No left guy looking sharp, huh?
Yeah, left guy doesn't got a suit on. We were originally going to push this to 4. And so I have not showered today, which is my hair is a mess. So
that's nice to tell the viewers.
It's okay. They can't smell me. I think I smell fine. But I was going to wear a hat. And I'm going to put it on briefly.
No, please don't.
And Mike told me because I was like, what hat works with a suit? Nothing. No hat really works with a suit. But if there is one, it might be this one.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I don't think it works, though. I agree. I think I'm going to go. But Mike, how are you feeling today on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon?
Well, my team hasn't lost in 3 weeks, so
hell yeah,
you can always check that box. We're going to talk about that team, the good and the bad, all that stuff, and we're going to talk about Aaron Glenn because, man, does he just like inviting controversy? So you can find us on Apple, Google, Spotify, Overcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there, and YouTube. Like the stream, subscribe, all of that. That really does help. Apologies if there's an echo coming in the back here. There is. I'll try and turn the mic sensitivity down a little bit. If not, then we'll just have to roll with it. And I don't know, maybe we can edit it out later for the audio people. But this is what I got to work with, so this is what we're working with. Get it, got it, good. Mike, you look dapper. Thank you, Armand.
There you go. How about that? Left guy looks dapper.
Now, let's talk about our head coach, who has, again, not lost in 3 weeks. He's got 2 wins in a row against – man, they should just play the AFC North all the time. Cincinnati they beat. Cleveland they beat. Pittsburgh they probably should have beat. Who knows?
Got the Ravens.
And then Aaron Glenn apparently pissed in everybody's cornflakes in the New York media because they are now out to get him. It's a war. Aaron Glenn doesn't want to give them an inch. They are not going to give him an inch. And because we understand good debate and good podcasting, we're going to start off with a rounding take of I don't care for this segment. For when people say the New York media is hard, it's not necessarily because they're always grilling you. It's because New York is so big that it's one of the few markets where there's so much competition between media sources and newspapers, even if they're not selling physical papers. There's so much competition to get a good quote and to do things like that. And I get the idea of if the local media turns its guns on you, you're done. I get all that. Is Glenn being, for lack of a better word, getting a little blue here, a dick? Kinda. He kinda is. He's going a little too far. It's Parcellsian, but Parcells eventually would give in a very wry, sarcastic way. Aaron Glenn just being like, nah, I don't want to. Now, I get that that's tough. But also, Aaron Glenn, not that he has like a personal history with Rich Cimini, but I mean, Cimini's been here so long. I mean, he covered Glenn when he was a player for multiple years. I don't believe that, the reporters are out to get the Jets. I don't believe Zach Rosenblatt and Rich Cimini are out to get the Jets or purposely write negative things about them because they give them so many things to write about negatively just in their own accord, just happening. Like, I get all that. But one of the things that I think really attracted Aaron Glenn to this Jets job and why Jets fans liked Aaron Glenn, apart from the nostalgia of just him being a great player, remember the whole thing, he gets the New York media. He knows how to handle it. Some people will point to this as not knowing how to handle it. I think he's handling it decently well. He just gets annoyed very easily, I think is the thing. And yeah, there are some standards and practices that the media might do that are a little antiquated. And maybe some Garrett's agent or somebody told Rich Cimini that, and Aaron Glenn wanted to say we're not leaking all that. I get all that. That's perfectly fine. I think it just spilled over. And now, one thing I'm not going to do, though, even as a member of the media who talks about the Jets for, content, my job and all that, I'm not going to act like, because I've seen a lot of this lately, especially from other media members, like it was the biggest effect. Like, he's just doing his job. Yeah, I get Rich is just doing his job. But what I hate the most are other sports writers, especially because they put themselves in this exalted position. Like, I'm big into the Baseball Hall of Fame voting. I like really into it every year. I remember one year, Tom Verducci, who's a great guy, who, after voting for Kurt Schilling, he had this pre-done piece where he was writing in this study with like one of those quill pens, and then he put it in an envelope, and he had one of those old English wax things with a seal, and he picks it up, and he goes, when I put this in, I'm holding the weight of history in my hands. I'm like, okay, get over yourself. There is a little bit of get over yourself in here from Rich Cimini, from some of the other guys here, where I'm like, all right, he's not giving you the injury updates at the appropriate times. Kind of for a guy who we pretty much know is not going to play anyway. The Fields quarterback thing's almost like a running gag at this point now. Like, we obviously know Justin Fields is going to be the presumed starter for a lot longer, and you knew he was going to start after the Cincinnati game. That's just people getting annoyed. I get being annoyed, but to make some big moral stance about this, I think people are just looking for stuff to complain for, and it's sports writers being all, how dare you not respect us? Like, get over yourselves a little bit.
Yeah, I get both perspectives of it. I'll say this to start. Aaron Glenn, whether he has success with the Jets or not, is not going to be dependent on how he handles the media. I know people like to make a big deal out of the pressers, and I think the pressers matter to a degree. As I said earlier in the year, the pressers matter when they impact the players, when they impact players in the locker room, when they impact what's going on the field. So when Aaron Glenn is, blindly going to bat for Justin Fields early in the year and basically saying it's not his fault, it's other guys, like, and that's not what he said, but in more or less terms, I think it came across that way at points. That's
really
something
quick to add to that. Armand, Glenn's pressers make it hard for me to root for him. Does it really? Isn't this what we wanted? Don't we always hate coach speak?
Well, I get that. I get that perspective. I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, I just, that's what matters. Like those press answers. When he's doing this, it's not going to impact his success that he has in New York. Now, I agree, Mike. I think he's being a dick. I think he's being an unnecessary dick for no reason. I think it's completely unprompted. As Armand said in chat, the reporters are just trying to do their jobs. Rich Cimini is reporting on an injury because that's literally his job. His entire job is to report on the team. So if he has sources that are telling him something,
he's a beat reporter, some may even say.
He's going to report that. It just seems incredibly petty for Aaron Glenn to respond to a reporter reporting and doing their job with, well, I'm not going to tell you any information. You might as well just get all your information from the reporter. That's childish. That's silly. There's no reason to create an adversarial relationship with the media like that for really no purpose. Now, I also understand the concept that the media's job is counterintuitive to the success of the team. If it was up to every single head coach in the NFL, there would be no media, right? Like it makes their jobs harder having to relay information, have to worry about their words getting twisted like that. It is counterintuitive to their success, but that's part of the job description, right? The media obviously exists for a reason, and it is integral to the success of sports in general. Not that Aaron Glenn is going to care about that. Aaron Glenn cares about the success of his football team, but that's part of the job, right? I just think it's silly to create distractions, for lack of a better word. Like, I don't think it's distraction in the locker room, but it's creating unnecessary noise around the organization where people are looking at it and going, why is this dude being a dick for no reason, right? Again, I don't think it's going to create or have any bearing on his success that he has with the Jets. If the results are there in the field, that's what's going to matter. If he is winning, the fans are going to love him. The owner's going to love him. That's what matters at the end of the day. It just feels unnecessary and unprompted to do what he's doing right now. But
how much of this you think is just, or the reaction to this is they're 2-7? Because look, obviously he's not going to be in that class yet. It's like sacrilege to even say it, but like you bring up the names like Belichick and Parcells and things like that. I mean, not only were they legendary for doing it, but the general taste of the national media is like, oh, it's cranky old Bill again. Just at it again. If Aaron Glenn were 7-2, wouldn't this be like, oh yeah, he's badass, not taking any crap from anybody? But now he's 2-7, and you look petty and small and trying to start a fight with people. Like, I get that winning will always excuse everything in this country and in this sport. Like, it always will, it always has. But purely in a vacuum, the act of what he's doing, I feel like it's just a reaction to people who are upset the Jets are losing again, even though they're winning more lately. They want to see Aaron Glenn, I guess, a little bit more contrite. But honestly, if he's not a contrite person, then he's not. Some people aren't. You can't make everybody robots. Yeah. You know who was really contrite in press conferences? Brian Dable. How'd that work out? They turned on him eventually, too. I think Aaron Glenn knows if you're not winning, the media is going to be adversarial anyway.
Yep.
So he says, all right, I'll punch back. I'm not just going to take it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're 100% correct. If the Jets were 7-2 right now, nobody's talking about Aaron Glenn's pressers. That's just a simple matter of fact. But he also knows they're 2-7, right? He doesn't care, obviously, that he's going to be adversarial with the media and that he's going to push back in the way that he has. I do think that the injury stuff is silly. Like, that's where I'm like, that's the only part of that to me that's just like, this is childish and
because it's so procedural and so
right. Like,
and
I don't have an issue with him not announcing a starting quarterback. I do actually think that people joke about there being a competitive advantage. I do actually think there is. I mean, even if it seems fairly obvious that Justin Fields is starting tomorrow, right? There's at least the potential.
Will he get 100 yards passing or 75 even, dare we dream?
In 3 of his last 4 starts, hasn't even hit 60. And I'm sure we'll get into more of that as we get to the awards. Maybe.
Thank God for the Bengals, man.
I know. But, I think there is a competitive advantage there because preparing for a quarterback like Justin Fields, no matter how terrible he's playing right now, is very different than preparing for a quarterback like Tyrod Taylor. They play very differently. So I don't have an issue with not saying who the starting quarterback is. I think it's really childish that a reporter reports on an injury and you go, oh, well, I'm just not going to tell you any more injury news now. That's
get it from Rich. Like, I can see if you say it like that. Yeah.
That's like middle school shit. Like that shouldn't be happening. I think that's silly. Brian says in chat, he'd be more sympathetic and less of a national joke if he wasn't the most prickly coach in the NFL. He doesn't care about sympathy though, so he won't be less prickly. Yes.
Some guys are prickly. Aaron Glenn's a prickly guy. I mean, it doesn't mean he's a bad person. He's a little prickly.
Say what you want about Aaron Glenn. The one thing that you can absolutely say is that he does not care about his public perception. He could give less of a shit. He does not care if we like him. He doesn't care if Rich Cimini likes him. He doesn't care if anybody likes him as long as the players in that locker room are listening to him and respect him and the owner is allowing him to do his job. That is what matters. Mr. Donkey829 asked, wait, why are you in a suit? You missed the beginning of the show.
It was take your child to work day, and Justin.
Mike, why aren't you in a suit?
Because we didn't have take your child to work day.
It's the return of the Woodies, Mr. Donkey.
Really quick though, before we get into the Woodies,
sure.
Do you think part of this again is Aaron Glenn just going, look, everybody, we're 2-7. Come at me.
Brian, high school graduate. That is disrespectful. How dare you? How dare you?
First communion.
How dare you? I'm Jewish. How dare you, Mike?
Bar mitzvah.
Sure.
Shalom. All right. Do you think part of this is Aaron Glenn going like, all right, everybody yell at me? Because I remember somebody brought this up. Rex Ryan would do this a lot when they were winning and when they were losing. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody make fun of me and come at me. Don't yell at the players. Maybe that's a part. Are we talking about Justin Fields throwing for 50 yards, 40 of which came on a screen pass? No. Are we talking about the decision going into should they start him or Tyrod? No. We're talking about the fact they have 1 turnover and no picks this year? No. We're talking about Aaron Glenn at the press conference. So maybe there's a degree of let me just take all the slings and arrows here.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about those things because we're not allowed to, according to Aaron. We're not allowed to ask Aaron Glenn any question about the quarterbacks. You can't ask him anything about the quarterbacks. He won't even answer if you ask him about Justin Fields' performance. He doesn't want to answer that. So that's why.
He will answer some positive stuff, though, like Will McDonald will talk about.
Yeah, well, look, it's partial. Like, I think maybe part of it is him being a lightning rod, but I also think it's leading to unnecessary questions because then guess what? Guess if Aaron Glenn didn't answer about Garrett Wilson's injury, so guess who got asked about it? Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson got asked about it. Now Wilson has to field questions that his coach should probably be answering for him. And he was like, you got to talk to the coach. And the coach is like, you got to talk to Rich Cimini. So I don't know how reporters are supposed to get any answers and do their jobs. But again, at the end of the day, if the Jets are winning, it's not going to matter. That has no bearing on the success of Aaron Glenn in New York. I personally just think he's being petty and making, adding distractions that don't really need to be there by just being childish about it. But if that's who he is, I don't want him to pretend he's not. Like, if he wants to be prickly and, combative with the media, whatever, man. Win football games. That's all I care about. But
I think it's time now for the opulence, okay. the pageantry.
Okay. So we've done this. For those who have not seen this before, this is the Woodies, right? We do this generally mid-season and then after the season. But this year, it's a little award show, right? As opposed to the Grammys, the Tonys, the Emmys, whatever. This is the Woodies, right? Named after, of course, our dear owner, chairman, Woody
I
Johnson.
believe it was done based on some Freudian slip of the tongue, and then Justin ran with it.
as I tend to do. But I wanted to up the pageantry for this, right? The production value a little bit for whatever we can do. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2025 midseason New York Jets Woody Awards. Royalty-free music. Royalty-free.
I think this was in The Little Mermaid, this song.
It was created by some guy.
It's some guy, Kevin McLeod.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an evening
in theaters, November 25th.
Hey! I got a little time to go. Good evening. Welcome to an evening unlike any other in the world of New York Jets football. We are live with the biannual Woodies, the prestigious award ceremony named after a billionaire. It's Alfred Nobel's Peace Prize. No, you're gonna keep it going.
I couldn't even hear you over the music.
Oh, was it too loud? Shoot.
Yeah, that was the problem.
Wait, I'll lower the volume. Is this better? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the first time.
This is a shambles, this.
I didn't know I had to lower it. All right, good evening, welcome, unlike any other, whatever. We are live with the biannual Woody, the most prestigious award ceremony named after a billionaire. It's Alfred Nobel's Peace Prize. We want to thank everyone for joining us today, whether you're watching live in chat, tuning in from home, or listening live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, of course, Mike, everyone's favorite podcast platform, Overcast. We'll keep that bit going. Tonight, or today, we celebrate excellence, the boldest, the bravest, and sometimes the most bewildering performances from our beloved New York Jets. We'd like to thank the Academy for their timeless efforts in voting on this year's awards, and by the Academy, of course, I mean Justin Fried and Mike Luciano. Everyone, clap it up. Clap it up to Justin and Mike. Woo!
Woo!
Hold for applause.
I don't know about you, but I'm invigorated.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, grab some popcorn. Let's hand out some Woodies.
Let's start out with the big one, shall we? We do Best Picture first here.
Let's do it. The first award. Let's start with MVP, Mike.
Let's start with MVP.
So how do we want to do this? Do you want to give, because we totally didn't convene on this at all. We might have different answers for all of these. We'll each give our answers, and if chat has any other shouts that they want to give, they can provide it to us. But this was, I don't know about you, Mike. This was kind of a tough one for me. There were a few awards that were kind of tough. I feel like in past years it's been more straightforward, but I don't know if it's just recency bias and looking at this Jets offense and looking at what they've been able to do somehow without, with the quarterback play that they've gotten. I'm giving it to Breece Hall, and I think that's a remarkable turnaround from where I was on him earlier in the year. And as a spoiler, I think there's going to be a lot of Breece talk in here. Brian said, let's read off nominees first. That'd be
how many nominees for MVP are on this team? They traded two of them.
Yeah, no, that was part of this as well. Awards that would have gone to maybe Quentin or Sauce that can't give out now. That I think a future idea would be having like a community voted like awards. I think that would be really fun. Maybe we could try that for the postseason.
We certainly can.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. But Breece is my Jets MVP for the 2025 season right now. It's obviously, mid-season, but I think he's playing some of the best football he's played. I think he is close to finding, if not fully back to that 2023 form where he was one of the best running backs in the NFL. He made, chicken, what is it? What's the phrase? Chicken
salad out of chicken shit.
Yep. Chicken salad out of chicken shit. Last week against the Browns. I think he's just playing so well right now. You could also say the offensive line. You could say, a number of players, but I think Breece has been so good. And I don't know where this Jets offense would be without him right now.
Justin is a man of very deeply held football convictions a lot of times. It can take a lot to really knock him off his perch and change his opinion. And I think he's done almost a complete 180 in a month on Breece Hall, where it went from kind of 50-50 to more likely than not, I think you trade him. And now as the weeks go on, it's looking more like not only do you have to keep him, but you have to make him a key part of what you're doing offensively. Breece Hall is the offense right now. Garrett Wilson didn't have a catch yesterday. Breece Hall is the only reason the Jets score any points, other than kick returns. Shout out Kenny Nwangwu.
They've won 2 games in a row, and Garrett Wilson didn't have a catch in either.
So because of that, really, Breece is the only guy who stands out because there's nobody on the defensive side. You could point to Sauce, but he's gone.
I might have said Quinnen before he got traded, and
he's gone too. So the offensive MVP very clearly with a bullet. Breece Hall, I saw an article today where somebody suggested that the Jets should give him the same deal the Packers gave Josh Jacobs, which is 4 years, $48 million. That's a lot of money to a running back, but after these performances, people keep in mind the Jets have the second most big rushing plays in the league with no threat of a quarterback. But what did we always say last year? Oh, Breece, he's running into stacked boxes. There's more of him this year, and he's performing exceptionally. I would say circumstances and all, you could argue this is a better year than even the breakout year, the second year, because they have nothing around him right now, and he's their only weapon. Because Garrett's hurt, he's their only weapon. And he's still producing against Cincinnati's terrible, but Cleveland's a good defense.
Yeah.
He had 130 total yards. So, Breece Hall, I know you're pissed right now, buddy, but hang in there. Actually, good suggestion, though. Austin McNamara.
In
the top three, yeah. Brandon Stevens.
Brandon Stevens. We got J. Mark said Breece, so he agreed. So you're saying Breece, right?
Bigums P. Powell said Olu.
Olu is a crazy shot. He's been playing a lot better lately.
Against Myles Garrett, after a week where Will Campbell helped give up 5 sacks against Myles Garrett, to limit him to 1, which was, again, that wasn't even like Olu blew the play. That was just a crazy Myles Garrett play.
Yeah.
That's grading on a curve, A+ for him that week.
Yeah, over the last 5 weeks, I think Olu's playing well. But I think we're both saying Breece, right? We're saying Breece?
We're both saying Breece.
I don't have anything like, I'm not going to play the music again. But the Woody.
What is that? Like a statue of Mary and Joseph? What is it?
Golden little statue figurine that I got in Malaysia. But for the purposes of today,
is this like blasphemous now? Is that some sort of
no? This was
iconography here.
The Batu Caves in Kuala Lumpur. No, this is I almost dropped it. This is our Woody Award.
What's that say? Jam on it? What?
It says Malaysia.
Oh, Malaysia.
It says Woodies, Mike. Can't you read it? It says Woodies. For the sake of today, this is going to be our Woody Award, okay? Until we can up our production value. Maybe Austrian Jet Fan donates 1,000 more memberships and we can buy Woodies. But this is our Woody.
I'm going to be honest. I don't want to make a gold cast of the Woody Award.
I think it'd be fun. Our first Woody of the year or of the Midseason Awards. Breece Hall MVP. The Woody goes to Breece Hall. Shout out Breece. We
have to make though 2 different kinds of Woodies though, Justin, because I feel like the natural transition might be least valuable player.
Yes, I agree.
This does not deserve anything gilded.
I'll still give out the award.
The Jets have had a lot of bad players this year. That's why they're 2-7, and we're 0-7 to start this year. Big veterans have underperformed for most of the year. Some of the free agent signings are kind of not great because they haven't really been playing that much. But this was probably the easiest one to come up with. It is very clearly Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Zach Wilson. Justin Fields might be having a worse season than any of the Zach Wilson seasons. It actually might be tougher arguing with some of the Justin Fields truthers than the Zach Wilson truthers. Because Zach Wilson truthers, he didn't even have good box score stats. So they were arguing with nothing. They had no backing for anything. Field, because he has the running plays that are still there, like you got to count those. They're real touchdowns. And the fact until last week he hadn't thrown an interception, and his stuff like passer rating and PFF had him like 19th or something like that. You can argue as a Justin Fields truther, hey, he's being let down. It's classic. What's a classic thing? The O-line of the play calling. That's how you know you're desperate.
If you ask that Justin Fields fan account, that Justin Fields FC account on Twitter, you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tanner Engster, who's scoring 40 points a game.
Oh. I don't know if we lost Mike or lost me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think we lost Mike is what happened. Yeah, we lost Mike. All right. Well, I don't know what's going on with Mike. Let me see if we can get him back on. If not, I'll just have to run some. I could run most of this by myself if we don't get him back. I just messaged him question marks. All right, well, we'll see what's going on. I was going to say the same thing as Mike. I was also going to say least valuable player, Justin Fields. It sucks, man. Right? I was very much on the train of signing Fields in the offseason. This was my preferred quarterback choice for the Jets, and he's just responded by having the worst year of his career. He has thrown for under 60 passing yards in 3 of his last 4 games. Just a brutal stretch of football. In 4 of his 8 games that he's played this year, he has thrown for under 60 passing yards. That is a level of unplayable that, as Mike updates me, that his Wi-Fi went down. So TBD if he'll be rejoining, but I'll hold it down for now in case he does. But yeah, that is unplayable quarterback performance from Justin Fields. And again, Aaron Glenn's taken a lot of the heat off that by, as Mike was saying earlier, kind of being a lightning rod for criticism. But I think, and we talk about going into that Patriots game. If he has another stinker on Thursday night, tomorrow night against New England, under the bright lights of prime time, they got to make a change, right? And it's the second time we're saying that this year, really like the third time we're saying that. But yeah, man, I think least valuable player has to be Justin Fields. So I will continue this. I will give out the Woody Award for least valuable player on the Jets roster. Justin Fields. I'm sorry. I hoped, I had higher hopes for Justin Fields. As Brian said, unplayable internet performance by Mike. Yeah, this internet performance from Mike is the equivalent of a Justin Fields start for half of the season, which has been unwatchable, untenable. This is an untenable. This is the word of the year, I feel like. Untenable Wi-Fi situation for Mike and an untenable quarterback situation for the Jets. Let's move on to the next award that I have on my list. And this one was another fairly straightforward one, I believe. It's Rookie of the Year. There's a couple of guys that, I think are in consideration. Like Mason Taylor looks like a long-term building block of this Jets offense. Malachi Moore, I think, has come on very nicely lately. And I have high hopes that he could be a long-term starter on this defense. I don't know what his ceiling is because he's still a little inconsistent, but a good player. But the answer here is Armand Membou. Armand Membou was very clearly the Rookie of the Year for the Jets this season. I put out some stats. Actually, I could pull right now as I think Mike is rejoining us. I think Mike's going to be back in a second, but
yeah, here we are.
There he is. Welcome back, buddy.
I apologize. This is what happens when there's like 600 devices on one Wi-Fi.
Well,
I apologize. I get your Fields spiel out.
Yeah, I gave my Fields spiel. He is the least valuable player. We've moved on to Rookie of the Year is next, and I already, I said Mason Taylor's done some good things. I think Malachi Moore has done some good things. It's Armand Membou. Right. It's so clearly on. He is PFF's highest graded rookie offensive tackle this season. He's allowed 3 sacks and 21 pressures and 9 starts. He is one of only 18 qualified tackles in the NFL, left or right, to have a PFF pass block and run block rate of 70 plus. And you got to remember, Mike, part of the issue too is Vinicius says Tyler Barron. Yeah. Shout out, I guess. Shout out Tyler.
The one clear Muji miss out of his first draft.
Yeah. The only draft pick that I could safely say is probably going to be a miss, but you have to remember too, some of these O-line numbers look a lot worse because of the quarterback play that they've received. Justin Fields has held on to.
I'm always surprised they don't take that into account if they're watching and grading every play.
I'm sure. Well, with the pressure numbers I'm specifically talking about, I don't know how much it's impacted the grades. It seems to have impacted it a little bit. I guess it's just one of those things that it's difficult to fully gauge in grades. Yeah. Like another thing that I noticed is they have a really tough time grading run stuffing defensive tackles. Like Harrison Phillips is consistently graded relatively poorly throughout his career, but he's well known, and I think the tape backs up that he's a very good run stuffing.
I know this guy's terrible, but I saw Mozzie Smith got a 30. I'm like, no, he didn't get a 30 for that game. Like, come on.
They really don't like run stuffing D tackles. They because I think the negative grades are very significant for that, very impactful. I'd love to talk to someone from PFF for that. But anyway, Membou, I think Membou's clearly
Membou for me too.
Yes.
You know what the biggest thing in Membou's favor is though? This is now 2 years in a row where the Jets picked an offensive tackle over a tight end.
Yep. Over
Bowers, Membou over Tyler Warren. And I was a big Tyler Warren fan coming out. Right up until the end, I was still in Tyler Warren land. And look, I think that would have been a very good pick. I think Tyler Warren would have played with the Jets for a very long time. But even if he's better than Mason Taylor, as somebody, what did Buffalo Jet fan tweet out? Call him ass cheeks McTurn style.
yes, he did.
He goes, you could have taken that guy in the middle rounds.
Yeah,
which is a harsh name for Broderick Jones, but you could have taken him in the middle rounds.
I thought it was an Ariante Ursary.
He's actually been okay lately.
Yeah,
and then gone with Tyler Warren, and then the offensive line, who knows what it is, because it's even more unsettled because 2 guys are leaving, 3 guys are leaving even. In free agency, you still don't have a right tackle. If nothing else, like I don't know if Fashanu is going to be here for 10 years as a high-end player. I think he's pretty good. But for at least the next couple years, the Jets do not have to worry about their tackles. They have their 2 starting tackles, Olu Fashanu and Armand Membou. And you can make a case this year, although Josh Myers, coaching staff was right on that one. He's been very good. I think Tippmann at right guard, that was the right position for him. They were right with that whole competition thing. Membou, you could argue, has been their best lineman. Yeah. And he's not facing cupcakes. I mean, some of the TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, like the guys he's playing against, Trey Hendrickson had a couple runs against him. Like, Membou's going up against a lot of really good pass rushers, and he's handling them expertly even.
That he is. And he's 21 years old. Just 21 years old, and he's playing like a top half right tackle in the NFL. I'd say borderline top 10 right tackle in the NFL right now, which is just crazy to say for a 21-year-old. So the Woody.
Membou is one of those guys. I wish I had a term for this because there's a lot of guys like this. You remind me of when Leonard Williams came out and the Jets got Leonard Williams, where you didn't know how good he was going to be, but there was almost like no chance he's bad.
Probably.
And that's where Membou was.
I expected, I was early on the Membou train. I was saying that pre-combine. I think I was like, hey, look, this is a guy the Jets should be considering in the first round. And I expected him to take more lumps than he has. Like, I thought that it would be a bit more of a rockier road this season than it has been. Like you said, Mike, I think there's a really good case he's been the Jets' best offensive lineman, which the entire offensive line has played fairly well. I think Simpson's probably been the worst of the 5. Myers has held his own. Tippmann, I think, is doing really good at right guard. Fashanu, after a start, I think is having a very strong, like, last 6 games or so. I think Membou might be their best right now, which, saying that about a 21-year-old rookie, like rookie offensive tackle, is ridiculous. And obviously he's not going to win rookie of the year. Offensive linemen never do, but I think he's been the best rookie offensive lineman in the NFL this year. So the Woody for rookie of the year, mid-season rookie of the year, is Armand Membou. J Mark asked, why is Justin's camera mirrored?
Mine is too. This is my left hand.
I think, this is also my left hand. I think everyone's camera is always.
Yeah, that's how cameras work. So
Brian asked really quick. This is a good little, I don't know, just a what's the word? Intermission, right? Intermission question. Who is the preseason IR placement? I think you got to give this one to Byron Cowart, right? You got to give this one to Byron Cowart. Jets signed him. He was expected to be the starter.
Byron Cowart and Derek Nottie was the competition at defensive tackle.
Yeah, those were the guys. It's like, all right, which one of those guys going to start? Little did we know Jawan Briggs and Harrison Phillips were right around the corner. J Mark said, isn't the window on the left side? Yes. Yeah, this is my left.
Okay, now before Justin completely screws up his directions.
Wait, now I'm confused. This is my left. It's mirrored. It's mirrored. Yes. This is my left. It looks like it's on my right.
Back to football and not geometry.
Anyway, the next one, Mike.
And not object permanence.
I'm still struggling with it. 27 years old. Let's do offensive player of the year. I think this is another one that we probably don't even have to have a long conversation for. We gave MVP to Breece Hall. Surely this has got to be Breece as well. I don't know. I think if Garrett Wilson had stayed healthy, he'd be in this conversation because Garrett was on pace for career highs before the knee injury, and now unfortunately missed a couple of games. Now, at least according to Rich Cimini, who I guess is our number one source for all injuries now, because Aaron Glenn's not going to tell us. It sounds like Wilson will miss at least the next 3 to 4 weeks. I think this one has to be Breece, unless you're going to give like a whole shout to the entire.
I will say though, non-Breece category, there's an argument for Membou. There's a legitimate argument.
I would say like the whole O-line you could make a case for. Like you could just, maybe that's cheating a little bit, but like the whole unit of the offensive line, that's really weird. Brian said in the last stream, sorry, back to object permanence for a second. The window was on the other side of the it was over there last time.
We'll figure this out in post.
It's always on this side for me. That's really bizarre.
Anyway.
Defensive player of the year. This one's a conversation.
It would have been Sauce or Quinnen, but they are both
I would have given it to Quinnen before those trades. I would have given it to Quinnen and probably Sauce runner up. Now they're both gone. This was actually a conversation we briefly had last week, I think, which was who's the best player on the Jets defense right now. And Mike, I think based on 2025 performance, I have to go Brandon Stevens, which is just so.
Who would have been saying that when they signed that contract?
Crazy to say. I think Jamie and Sherwood's playing really well right now, but he got off to a really tough start. Will McDonald obviously just had the 4 sacks, but he's been
every
invisible.
6th game he turns into Lawrence Taylor, which
Right,
is funny.
but he's been invisible for a lot of the year. I think Jermaine Johnson, if he's healthy, is maybe the best player in this Jets defense. He's still working his way back from that Achilles. I don't know who else. It's not Quincy. Like, I don't know who else it would possibly be. Jarvis Brownlee? Like, it's got to be Brandon Stevens. Midseason says Brandon Stevens as well. I'm going to give this award. My vote is for Stevens, a guy who we were, this was the most heavily criticized move of the entire offseason for the Jets. They paid Stevens 3 years, $36 million, despite the fact that he had been one of the worst corners in the NFL over the last couple of years. And I don't think he's lighting the world on fire right now. I think he's playing arguably above his contract worth. Like, I think if he had like an interception or two, which, man, I wish the Jets defense still 1 takeaway, by the way. We're going to a week.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Week 11, and they have 1 takeaway.
And no picks.
Remarkable. I think isn't the lowest for a season 7?
Yeah. The lowest through this point in the season is, I think, 4 or 3.
The lowest
ever had 1 or 2.
I think the lowest in NFL history in a season is 7. And that includes when the season was shorter than it is now. It's 17 games now.
Well, again, there were more turnovers back then, but still.
For sure. I don't think the Jets get 7. I really don't think they'd have to go on a ridiculous hot streak of takeaways.
Which is just weird because Glenn was a turnover guy in Detroit. That was part of his mantra.
As Brian said, what an amazing turnaround from the first 2 weeks. Yeah, Stevens, those first 2 weeks, man, looked exactly like the Stevens of last year, but not now.
Here's part of why I defend this coaching staff a little bit more than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Outside of Fields, every gamble where they're like, trust me on this, they've kind of been right. Jawan Brigg, trust me on this. Yeah, we can fix Brandon Stevens. Trust me. They fixed him.
Isaiah Williams.
Jarvis Brownlee, we got a system for him. Trust me. They did it. We can get Jamin Sherwood and Quincy Williams back on track. Trust me. They did. Like, every time that they've made a move where at the outset I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it could go either way, 50-50. Outside Fields has been that's the big miss that's going to mar everything. But
for sure,
all these other little moves, they seem to have hit.
Couple of shouts for Jawan Briggs in the chat, 2009 MGH, and then J Mark also asking about Briggs. I mean, I think Briggs is punched way above his weight class, like what the Jets were expecting from him. I think he's been at a minimum, a bare minimum, an excellent quality run stuffing defensive tackle and rotational piece.
He's a starting defensive tackle in this league
right now. He's he is a starter now, and also Harrison Phillips. I don't know if you saw that, Mike. He was spotted in a walking boot. So Harrison Phillips likely going to miss. I mean, again, there's no way of knowing because Aaron Glenn's not going to tell us. But I'm assuming that he's going to be out at least on Thursday, possibly more time. So
is your starter going to play? What do you care? Well,
there's no way we know now, but it's going to be Briggs, probably Jay Tufele, starting at defensive tackle with Mozzie Smith and Peyton Page, who is probably getting elevated for the final time.
That was another one. Derek Nottie, they were wrong on, but they got to pick for him anyway. So
wrong on a guy they gave no guarantees to on a vetman
who might be the worst player at any position in the league right now.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. But yeah, to answer that, Briggs, you can make a case. I just don't think he's been like the best. Like, he just doesn't play enough to be the most impactful defensive player on the roster. But he's been a pleasant surprise, and I think he's absolutely a building block to move forward with.
But Brandon Stevens is not my defensive player of the year.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with my dog, Jarvis Brownlee.
Wow.
Even after that bad, because again, I think what the Jets have confirmed now is his whole college career and his Titans career, they were playing him out of position. And look, he went outside in the middle of a game, didn't do very well, and he even admitted it. But you know what? The second they put him into the slot, and I know Michael Carter was terrible. The second they put him in, immediate upgrade. The second they put him in, this defense, which is still bad, was not deplorable. It was kind of regular bad, I think is what they've been lately. Kind of okay, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's with minimal talent. That's with one new slot corner coming in. And now no Sauce.
And Jermaine coming back.
But like, it's really hard to deny the impact he's made on the secondary. They still got him for a couple more years under contract. He's forced the only turnover right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And like Jermaine Johnson, his personality type, his vigor, the dog in him, DAWG, that was lacking in this locker room. And they got it in spades with Jarvis Brownlee. So because of that, he's a guy who I think is going to be with the Jets for a very long time. And if Azareye'h Thomas, when healthy, proves to be what the Jets think he is, they may pull off the feat of trading Sauce Gardner and still having a really good starting cornerback room, like above average. And that's really rare. And I think Jarvis Brownlee plays a big role in that.
Listen, man, I'm not mad at it. I can't get there yet. It's only been a few games. I don't have a large enough sample size with him, but you mentioned it. Like the defense completely changed when he was inserted into the starting lineup.
Michael
I know. I was going to bring that up.
Defensive Player of the Year is Justin Fields.
I was going to put that in there. Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year, Justin Fields. He's incredible at stopping offenses. You're not wrong.
What happened to him, man? What happened?
You're not wrong, Michael. I don't know. Well, I think that lends in, or by the Woody for Defensive Player of the Year goes to, I guess, both Brandon Stevens and Jarvis Brownlee. I think that leads into, well, let's do another one. Before we get to maybe more field stuff. Next one I had on my list, Mike, was most improved player. And I think there's a few guys that you can give this to. And I don't want to just keep giving awards to the same guys, which I feel like was a recurring theme when I was filling out my ballot. It has to be Brandon Stevens, right? Like, I mean, if we're basing it off of improvement based on from last year.
Improvement? It's not even close.
Like Brandon Stevens, we just said he was the defensive player of the year for the Jets right now. And Brandon Stevens has been one of the worst corners in football for the last 2 seasons. I don't know how you don't say that he is the most improved player on this team. I think there's other guys you can give shouts to, right? Like, I mean, I don't know if you want to say like a Jawan Briggs or something like that, but you didn't really see him last year. Like, I was trying to think of guys on the Jets roster that were on the roster last year. Is maybe Jeremy Ruckert, I think, has been a good tight end too, and he hadn't been in the past. I think he's been solid this year. You could say Brees, but it's less improved and more just like we've seen him be great. Now he's great again. I don't know who else I would give this to if it's not Stevens. So I'm going Brandon Stevens here. Tittman maybe, but I thought he was good last year too. He's impressing playing a different position.
I think he's better at right guard than he was at center.
You could argue that. I think he's rough. I think people made a little too much of it. Like, I think he's been really good at both. But I think, like, if you have any issues with the snapping stuff, like, no reason not to keep him at guard full time. I think I think that's a fair shout. I'm going to stick with Stevens. That's my pick for most improved. What about you?
Michael Clemens next year.
Clemens next year. He might not be on the roster. Do you think do you think Michael Clemens is this like generation's Nathan Shepard? Where they just keep bringing him back.
They just keep bringing. I mean, 2 coaching staffs have tried to fix
him. I know.
Him, so.
Where it's like he's clearly a below average rotational piece, but maybe we just bring him back anyway.
I will say, I think he's actually had some okay games this year.
I agree. No, there were a couple of like negative awards that I was like, if you asked me in week 3 or 4, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to give this to Clemens. Like Clemens, I think would have been in the conversation for least valuable player in like week 5. But I think he's been all right now that he's playing like a,
Vinicius notes too. Garrett Wilson has looked better than ever before his injury.
Yeah, he was great. And then Brian,
wish he had a quarterback, but I guess we can't get that.
Brian said Tony Adams suddenly looked like a top end safety against the Browns.
The Aaron Glenn benching seems to work wonders for you.
Call me a Tony Adams stan, but I think he's still I think he could be a quality NFL player. The problem with him is he's just such a bad tackler, which that's
a big problem for
it is a big problem as a safety, but I actually think he's solid in coverage. Like for the most part, he holds up well in coverage. And I think he gets to the right spots in run defense. His tackling is just dog shit. Right. Like, and that could be debilitating and prevent him from ever being a starting
safety. Nick Folk, someone says.
For most improved? I mean, I missed 1 kick last year with the Titans.
He was good last year too. He was
great last year. We will mention Folk at some point, though. I'm sure. Are you sticking with Stevens for this one?
I'm sticking with Brandon Stevens just because. I mean, really, maybe this shows how great we are at predicting things. The offseason, we're like, yeah, we like the Justin Fields move. We like Stone Smart. We don't love Brandon Stevens, and now Justin Fields hasn't thrown for 75 yards in 3 of his last 4 starts, and Brandon Stevens, for a period, like a 4-week period, was as good of a cornerback as you could find in the league.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think it's got to go to Stevens. On the other hand, so whatever, what is it? Most improved, the Woody goes to Brandon Stevens.
And I'm sure he's appreciating it.
On the other hand, biggest disappointment, Mike. I think
non-Fields category or Fields category.
I mean, I gave it to Fields. If you want to say non-Fields,
I'll do non-Fields.
All right, non-Fields. It's a discussion. I think you can argue for the first half of the season, Jamie and Sherwood was in that conversation for me. I think you could have said Quincy as well. Trying to think of who else might be. John Simpson, I think, has taken a step back, but I wouldn't put him in like the most disappointing conversation. Yeah, I would probably go with Sherwood for the first half of the season, but he's coming on late lately, which has been nice to see.
Mine's a tie between one guy and then like 5 other people. So this is going to be a complex one.
Okay.
Jamie Sherwood gets half of it.
Sure.
Because look, he's played better lately, but I mean, it's sunk the defense for so long.
Yeah, I agree.
Having him play like that. I mean, there were legitimate conversations of, can you just eat that contract and trade him to the Falcons or something like that? Like, these were discussions people were having.
And I do think they were premature. I was still, even as of like a month ago, I was like, I'm gonna give him time. I think he's still a good player. I think he's just had a few bad weeks, and he's been better lately, which is nice.
But it took a while to get there.
Yes, it was rough.
And then I would say collectively the wide receiver room outside of Garrett Wilson, because think about this offense wouldn't be good if they had a wide receiver too, but everybody has tried their hardest to be even the worst wide receiver two in the league, like the worst possible qualified starting wide receiver two in the league, and none of them have been able to do that. Josh Reynolds, unfortunately, washed. Good career, but washed. Alan Lazard doesn't want to be here. Arian Smith gets open, but nobody throws it to him, and he's very limited as a player, so you can only do so many things with him. Tyler Johnson, biggest Met in the world. John Mechie, maybe he'll do something. Adonai Mitchell, maybe he'll do something, but they're still complete unknowns right now. Think about even if they had a bad wide receiver too, who was on pace to get like 600 yards. Think about how much better this offense would look. They can't even get a guy that's going to get 300 yards this year. I've never seen, if you take Wilson out of this, I've never seen a wide receiver room this bad in the NFL. I have you? I mean, I'm outside of 20, 30 years ago. I mean, recent NFL history. Last 5 years, has there been one this bad?
Obviously,
10 years?
Having Garrett, I think, makes it not the worst I've seen.
Excluding Garrett.
Yeah, well, if you exclude the superstar, then yes. I don't think they have a wide receiver 3.
But by the way, your name is me, not Justin. So I don't know if you want to get that.
Fun. I'll change that.
Get that fixed up there. But.
That's because when you left, I quickly left because I didn't know if it was me that was messing up.
Oh dear.
It's all right. We're good.
Will McDonald before the Browns game. I think a lot of people said.
Yeah, you could say it. I'll give a shout really quick to Andre Sisco. I think Sisco absolutely deserves to be in that conversation because I think you got him hoping that he can be this ball hawking safety. Obviously, I don't think the expectations were super high, but you wanted him to be a high variance player who could create turnovers. And instead he was just a high variance player who didn't create any turnovers and then
got hurt.
You got way more lowlights with him than any real highlights. So I think that
did he have a highlight? What did he do? He did nothing. I don't even really remember many lowlights. He just was.
No, there were a good amount of lowlights, not many highlights, but I would put
he just showed up, was an NPC for 8 games, then he got hurt. Now he's going to leave next year.
Pretty much stole $10 million. Mike, let's go coach of the year. This one, honestly, I thought
Slim Pickens.
I don't think it is. I think there's an obvious answer to this, and it's Chris Banjo. I think it has to be Chris Banjo. The Jets have the best special teams unit in the NFL. They lead the NFL in DV, special teams DVOA. They have, as we've seen in chat while we're giving out a lot of these awards, you know how many shouts there have been for Isaiah Williams, Kenny Nwangwu, Nick Folk, Austin McNamara. I mean,
turning around Isaiah Williams too, and they got a lot of guff for keeping him.
They have probably the best punter in the NFL. They have a kicker who has not missed a kick this year, which that has happened before. I think I said on the stream last week that it has. I don't know if it's happened. It has happened. I believe it was Morton Anderson might have done it in the 90s. And then there was another guy who did it too. It's happened like twice before ever. But they have a kicker who's never missed a kick this year. They have Thomas Hennessy, who's a great long snapper.
Gary Anderson, I remember.
Gary Anderson. That's who it was. But you have Kenny Nwangwu, who by the metrics is the best kick returner in the NFL right now. And by the tape as well. You watch him. I've not seen the Jets have a return man like this since Leon Washington, probably, right? Isaiah Williams.
I should keep in mind for the folks at home, I sent Justin this earlier today. Kenny Nwangwu and Devin Hester have the same amount of career kick return touchdowns with 5. Devin Hester had almost 300 kick return attempts for 5 touchdowns. Kenny Nwangwu has 76.
Insane.
So how many kick returns do you get a game? Maybe like 4 or 5?
I know. You know what's funny, Mike? I know the Jets don't use him ever on punt returns. Why is that?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not
because Isaiah Williams.
Isaiah Williams has been good, but it's so weird. I don't think the Vikings really did either, to my knowledge. It's just weird that a guy is such a good kick returner. Why not try him as a punt returner, right?
But keep in mind, though, let's just say you get 4 or 5 chances to run back kicks in an average game. Kenny Nwangwu was averaging a kick return touchdown every like 3 or 4 games. It's just amazing.
Yeah, That's insane.
Like it's just amazing.
It's ridiculous. I think Banjo just gets all the, and it's not even just the individual players. Like, and Kenny Wangwu shouted this out this week when he was talking to reporters. He said this is the best, like basically the best special teams unit that I've ever been a part of. You watch the returns here. It's not like Wangwu even had to do that much on that kick return touchdown this past Sunday. Like
I don't even think he was touched.
The blocking has been stellar. And guys that we don't really even talk about ever. Andrew Beck, Stone Smart, who is MIA. He's been MIA this season. The average Jets fan has no idea Stone Smart is on this Jets roster right now.
Stone Cold Smart, by the way. That can't be a coincidence.
Right. Every week, he's blocking his ass off on these returns. The Jets are just such a well-disciplined team on special teams. You rarely see special teams penalties with this Jets team. Their kick coverage is outstanding. Their punt coverage is outstanding. Every part of the special teams is fantastic. And that, like, if that's the case, if it's this well-oiled of a machine, yeah, they have the personnel for it. But I have to look to Chris Banjo, and I say he's doing an awesome job. It's his first year as a special teams coordinator. That has been by far, I think, the best coaching performance by any coach in this Jets roster. The only other guy I'd give a shout out to, I think Steve Hyden deserves a lot of credit for the Jets offensive line being, I mean, look, they basically have the same
first-time O-line coach, too. He was a tight ends coach in Detroit.
He was. They basically have the same personnel they did last year. Obviously, minus AVT, in steps Membu, in steps Josh Myers. The Jets, a stat that I saw earlier, they were 26th last year in rushing yards before contact. This year, they're I think top 3 or something like that, or top 10.
Yeah.
Top
with
10,
the same guys.
10. Yes, but basically the same personnel.
The same guys with Membu instead of not Morgan Moses, one of their many right tackles from last year.
They had
Tyron Smith.
Smith. Yeah, it was rough, but yeah, like that's they basically have the same personnel, but just the run blocking scheme has been so much better. So I'd give a shout out as well to Steve Hyden, who I think's done a really good job. But this one has to be Banjo, in my opinion.
Aaron Glenn had made 3 coordinator hires. One of them he missed on, Wilkes. One of them we think he hit on, Tanner Engstrand, but we need to see a real NFL quarterback who can operate an NFL passing game.
And I'll say this about Wilkes. With the way the defense has been playing lately, I think he should be back next year.
Yep. And I also think Engstrand has shown he's very good at creating a running game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's very creative. Like Brees, how many times yards before contact? Like Brees will go untouched. The line's moving pretty well. Like it's not just run halfback dive. Like there's a creativity to running games that I think gets overlooked because passing games are more visible. Like Engstrand can do that. I think he can do it with the passing game. We need to see him with not Justin Fields.
I don't think Engstrand has shown an ability to adapt. And obviously there's certain quarterback play that's just so bad that you can't adapt to it. But I don't think they've been calling up great game plans for Fields this year. So I don't think he's shown an ability to adapt to a quarterback like Fields, which raises questions for me about why'd you sign him, right?
Well, but nobody thought he'd be this bad, number one. But,
no. Again, there's certain stuff that's just you can't do anything with. But I do think he's not called great game plans for him. That being said, the running game plan has been fantastic. Like they clearly have a strength of this offense that they can work around, and he's scheming guys open. Like I think if you put a quarterback that would fit a rhythm and timing based offense, this Jets offense could be really good.
Mendoza.
Fernando Mendoza. Like I think the offense has a very high ceiling if you put a quarterback like that into Engstrand's scheme.
So we got one leaning more towards miss than hit. We got one leaning towards more hit than miss. And then we got one A+ surefire with a bullet is going to be a special teams coach on various teams for 30 years in the league.
You would hope so. Obviously.
Who studied under the GOAT Mike Westhoff.
He did.
Chris Banjo. A guy doesn't get a good point from Brian Sternbeck here too. Owangu has such good long depth vision. You wonder why he can't play on offense.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's not like he has ball security.
Iowa State was like that too. He didn't. He actually, I believe, backed up Brees at Iowa State.
But yeah, they crossed over.
And they didn't really use him either. He was totally like a size, speed ball of clay when the Vikings got him. So
he is like
really nobody's known what to do with him his whole career.
I feel like he is the perfect archetype for a kick returner in today's NFL. Like the days of the tiny little 5'8" speedy, like what was the guy's name on that?
Isaiah Williams.
Remember what's his name? Trendon Holiday. That's the name.
Oh, right? He was like 5'4".
Yeah,
he was like an Olympic sprinter in the 100-yard dash.
The days of guys like that being kick returners are gone. Like you want guys who can break tackles. You want guys who can run through arm tackles with the way that the current kickoff structure is set up. And I think Wangu is just a perfect archetype for that type.
The biggest skill isn't even vision or elusiveness, like maybe punt return used to be. It's acceleration.
Yeah.
With this new format and how little guys have Darren Sproles. Well, Darren Sproles was a singular unit. He would have been good any era.
Yeah.
But
Like those guys, I think, still work more on punt returns. I don't think that's changed, but kick returns, I think, has changed a lot.
why Wong-Woo works is he just gets up to top speed. He's big, number one, and he gets up to top speed so fast.
And he
so
just
if you only get a 10-yard head start, he gets a 30-yard head start.
Yes.
And you're coming off a block and he's sprinting and he's as big as you.
Yes.
Hard to bring him down.
He runs through tackles. Like every return, he's breaking arm tackles. Every single return that he has. But yeah, what were you doing, Coach of the Year, right? Banjo, I think, obviously has to be the pick there, in my opinion. Comeback player of the year. Let's go through some of these quickly, Mike. As we always do, we end up going over with talking too much about some of these. Comeback player of the year. It depends on how you want to judge this. If you're going to do an injury thing, maybe it's Jermaine Johnson, right? Coming back from Achilles and I think playing well.
Jermaine gets my vote.
It depends on how you define the award, which is a whole NFL.
I mean, in a year, he went from of the great Joe Douglas class, he went from the guy I thought was least likely to get a long-term deal to like now a guy that you have to pay.
Yeah, I think he's been good. Like I think he's been fine since coming back from the Achilles injury. He's clearly not in his pre-injury form yet, but it's getting better each week. He just got a sack this past week against a really bad Browns defensive line. He had like 5 or 6 pressures, which was a season high for him. My vote, though, because I don't like just giving it out for just injuries, right?
For overcoming an Achilles tear, that's not impressive to Justin Fried.
It depends on how you want to define it, right? In the end, I'm going to define my comeback of the year different than how the NFL defines it because they've recently said we're not going to do it for performance. My comeback player of the year is Breece Hall. Breece Hall is just significantly better now than he was last year. That's just my take. I think Breece, like you said at the beginning, Mike, I was very down on Breece coming into this year. I think the NFL with the running back position, it's such a volatile position that it's very much a what have you done for me lately position, and that's kind of how I judge the position group. Breece Hall was not good last year. I thought he was a below average running back, which is it was a fall from grace given where he was at going into the year where I thought you could make a case he was the second best running back in the NFL. I don't know if I'd say that now that he's back in that conversation, but I certainly think he's a top 10 running back right now. He's playing like it, which even 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, I probably wouldn't have said that. I just think he's playing so well right now. And just given where he was last year.
Imagine him. Like, obviously, like I don't want the Jets to trade for Kyler Murray, obviously. I want them to pick it up. But let's just say they had a Kyler Murray level quarterback play. Like that level, which is still NFL starter for 4 years. Imagine what his numbers would look like.
Yeah.
It's Zach Wilson and Fields and the ghost of what's left of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And he's still producing. And he's getting better.
I know. So I'll give it to Breece. You give it to Jermaine for good reasons. I think for valid reasons there. The next one, just a little fun one. I believe this was given last year to, actually, I forget who we gave this to last year, but the award this was previously named the Get This Guy Off My Team award. I changed it a little bit to the why is this guy on the roster?
Get this damn guy off my team award.
Why is this guy on the roster? What does he even do award? And I'm going to say that the Woody for that award goes to Alan Lazard. I know what Alan Lazard does. He blocks. I'm aware.
Make him a tight end.
Why is this guy on my roster?
Why is he not a tight end now?
It's truly amazing that it is November of 2025 and Alan Lazard is still on the Jets roster. If you told me that a year ago,
he outlasted Sauce Gardner.
He outlasted Sauce and Quinnen. That is diabolical. That doesn't make any sense. I know why he's there. He blocks. I get it. You don't have to explain to me. I would so much rather see these snaps go to Arian Smith, Adonai Mitchell, John Mechie now. Like those are the guys I'd much rather have those snaps, especially with Garrett out. Lazard was a healthy scratch this week. I wouldn't be upset if he was a healthy scratch, even with Garrett Wilson back.
Braden McGregor's my guy.
That's fair. Hey, highest graded.
Barron are both bad, but at least you drafted Barron. I don't know, play him, I guess.
Highest graded player, by the way, on the Jets roster this past
10
week.
snaps or something?
He had exactly 10 snaps.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's also a fair shout. I was also considering Barron for this one too, where it's just like he's doing nothing at all. Next one. Best offseason addition. Now, this is another one that I think there's a few names that could be in this list just for the sake of not giving the award out to the same guys. I think it probably could be Brandon Stevens, but I'm going to give this to Juwan Briggs just because of they got him for pennies on a dollar. They got a guy who has 2.5 years of team control, who I think is, I think he might be your best defensive tackle left on the roster right now, which is not saying much, right? They traded away Quinnen, but I think Briggs has been awesome. And we talked about him a little bit earlier, but that would be my shout for this. You could argue Stevens as well, and I certainly wouldn't disagree. If you want to just say overall acquisition, yeah, you could say Armand Membu. You could say Mason Taylor, right? Like I think Membu might be the guy then. But I wanted to give a shout to a guy we didn't really talk about as much. So I'm gonna say Briggs.
Is it crazy to say Harrison Phillips?
No, I think he's also in that category. Absolutely.
I think I might a non-Stevens category. I might go Harrison Phillips just because him and Briggs. I think Briggs is a little better pass rusher. I think Phillips is really
Agreed. For sure.
kind of regressing in that area. But this is going to sound very corny, but one of the things that I didn't like about Aaron Glenn was he didn't bring in a lot of like his guys that knew how he would like to win from Detroit. Like you need guys who, for lack of a better word, know how to win. And I think Harrison Phillips is one of those guys from all those years in Minnesota.
And Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right as they were getting good. So
I agree. Brian said Banjo Folk. Yeah, you could also say Nick Folk. You could say Austin McNamara.
Nick Folk too might be better than skinny Nick Folk.
Fat Nick Folk is overpowered. He still hasn't missed a kick this year.
Football's awesome because look at Michael Clemens and Nick Folk and go, which one is the better football player?
Look at Aaron.
Nick Folk's winning every time.
Look at Aaron Donald and Harrison Mevis. Like two good
it's like these two play the same sport.
On the other hand,
Mailata and like Bryce Young physically, it's like these two play the same sport.
And Trendon Holiday. Right?
Yeah.
Trendon Holiday. On the other hand, on the flip side of that coin, Mike, worst season off. Worst.
Notice the flip side to that coin. You never seen Heat?
No.
Come on.
No, I haven't.
That's a great movie.
I haven't. I'm sorry. I've heard of it.
That's a good movie.
Worst off-season edition. Fields, right? It's got to be Fields.
It's got to be
Fields. The other one I gave a shout to was Andre Sisco.
You could argue that's really everybody's going to make missteps in the offseason, like slightly more negative edition, not being able to do something. Like, if they didn't get think about how much that's just tanked everything.
Mike, it just sounds like the same conversation we have every year, where it's like, man, Joe Douglas did a lot of good things for this roster. Couldn't get a quarterback.
That's my fear with Muji. Is he's gonna Joe Douglas it and like build a great roster, and then we got to go watch this. And
listen, man, I'll settle if you don't want to hit on any of your day 3 picks. I don't give a shit. Just give me a quarterback. That's all. Give me a quarterback. That matters.
I get so we talk about sports with guys that we work with a lot. Like they'll go into these rants about their quarterbacks. And I would love for Kyler Murray to be my quarterback. Like that level of play over the last couple of years.
Dude, I talked to Jason about Herbert, and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, he'll complain. Jason Reed, a great guy.
Yeah.
He both beat our Los Angeles Chargers site. He'll be like, yeah, Herbert is really pissing me off. I'm like, don't even dare.
Dude, you have no right.
Don't even joke about that.
To me. I hear Jerry say a word about Dak. And
he loves Dak.
I know he does. I'm just saying, in theory, if I were to hear him say a word about Dak, just shut up. No, you have no right to complain.
Look, I make fun of this guy sometimes too, but our Eagles guy will sometimes be like, Jalen Hurts is really struggling. I'm like, Jalen Hurts would have had a statue in New York if he put up those numbers.
Oh my God, yeah. He practically has a statue in Philly already, right? The next one is an award that I'm bringing back that I like to call the Pay This Man Now Award. And Mike,
who won last year? Sauce?
I forget, actually. I think Huff won it the year before that, and that one didn't work out so well. At least that was my shout, at least.
Be warned.
So be warned. And unfortunately, the guy we're giving this to, or at least the guy that I'm going to give this to, which is quite the turnaround, Mike, from where I was a few weeks ago. But they didn't trade him. And if you're not going to trade him at the deadline, and he's still on your roster, and man, we gave this dude MVP. Surely you got to pay him, right?
Got to pay Brees.
Pay this man, pay Brees Hall, right? Like, I think you could say out a couple other people where, it's like, oh, who else should they re-sign in the offseason? Like maybe, is
it fair to say that's offseason priority number 2 behind get a quarterback?
I would say offseason priority number 2 is get a wide receiver 2.
Okay.
And then you could argue.
Then it's Brees.
Then you could argue Brees. Like, I think wide receiver 2 is just so desperately needed.
That Alec Pierce $80 million contract, though, was
there was a report. Well, there was actually an interesting report came out of ESPN that I think it was Fowler or Graziano reported that Alec Pierce is expected to get a contract worth up to $20 million a year, which is nuts. And that same report also said Brees Hall is now looking at more of a Josh Jacobs deal, which that.
Well, I mean, we were saying the Kyron deal. That's what 11 mil versus 12 mil.
Well, four for 48 though that's a lot. That's a good amount. I
could have no running back.
Well, I think they might tag him, is what I'm saying, instead of giving him
transition tag, baby.
Like I think you got to keep him no matter what. Well, if he's going to get 48 mil, you might have to franchise.
Armand is amazing, says Jermaine, for the pay him now.
Pay him now. You don't have to. Like, he's not a free agent. So, but you could argue to extend him. He is still under contract next year. But yeah, you could argue to get ahead of that in extension. Simpson, maybe. Honestly, I think there's a world where you also bring back ABT in a 1-year deal. Others have mentioned that.
I think there's going to get one of those like Denver Eagles cushy O-line factory contracts.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I think there's a world where the Jets bring him back on a 1-year deal because his market is kind of tanked because
So
of
where would he play then? Right guard and move Tittman back to center?
Or left guard. And you don't bring back Simpson.
And you got to move him after another injury. And
oh, you're assuming he gets hurt again. That's
how good not? He's hurt. I like the guy. He gets hurt every year.
I am going to stand by. Obviously, the triceps thing is like that's just so unfortunate that that's happened twice. Like
sometimes it's just time for a guy to leave a place.
I think it's just time. I want to hold on, man. I want to hold out hope that he still might be brought back. Next one, moment of the year. This was an interesting one for me, but when I thought about it, because there haven't been a lot of positive moments this year. There have not been a lot of great moments. Really, they've just been recent because they've won 2 games in their last 2 games. I think it's got to be the Breece Hall touchdown to Mason Taylor, because that was the game-winning touchdown that won them the Bengals game. It was such a high of a moment because it was just such a ridiculous play, right? Where Taylor makes a ridiculous catch. Hall actually has
ballsy call too.
Ballsy call in that situation. 1st and goal. You're down 6, I believe. You were down 38-32 at the time of that play with under 2 minutes to go. That's my moment of the year, I think.
Well, it's coming from that game too. I think it's the Brownlee breaking up the pass.
Oh, at the end of the last play of the game. Yeah, to win the game.
Only because when that was going on, we're chatting in our work chat. Everybody's like, "You excited, Mike? You're winning lately." I literally said, "I know what's coming."
you are.
I'm like, I know what's going to happen, and then it didn't happen. So.
Mike in group chats during the game is so funny. He is the most everything is the worst thing in the world. The sky is falling, and I get it. I understand it. You're not wrong for acting that way, but it's so funny. It's
the NFL is crazy. Javon Kinlaw got 345, but Breece might not get 448.
It doesn't make sense, man. J Mark with a good shout here. The Will McDonald block field goal, that's up there too.
With and then I thought that was going to happen again. I thought Tampa was going to happen again.
That also led to the Aaron Glenn, celebration dance. Yeah, I think you could argue it's that too. It just didn't lead to a win, so it's a little tainted.
Can I submit an alternate? Who want to fly with them Jets?
I mean, sure, yeah. Look, if they're winning, that's cool. If they go 2 and
lately they are. So
they are. If they go 2 and 15, it won't be as cool looking back. Special teams.
If they get Mendoza, I don't think people will mind.
It's true. I have a take, by the way. Well, I don't. We can't get. We're not going to
Simpson QB1 or some shit.
I'm getting there.
Oh, come on.
I'm getting there, Mike.
You saw Dane Brugler
put
him one.
No. I'm getting there. I'm not there
I think
yet.
he did put him one, right?
He might have. I don't know. I'm not there
yet.
If
I remember correctly, I think he had Simpson, Mendoza, but close. And then I think he had Moore and Sellers both in his top 20. He really is.
Still he had Sellers at 50. I'm gonna if I'm predicting right now. By the way, no Stevenson, no Kayshon Boutte, and no Austin Hooper against the Jets. So
it won't matter.
It won't. You're right. if I'm predicting right now, I don't think Dante Moore or Lenore Sellers are in the draft. I'd be surprised if either of them are in the draft at this stage.
You think he goes back more?
Even more. I think Moore goes back. Mendoza and Simpson are the clear-cut top 2 probably at that point then. I'm not there yet.
Next year it's going to be more Julian Sayin and Arch.
2027 might be loaded, which I know we say that all the time about every draft class.
This year was supposed to be.
I know. But a lot of guys are going back. I think it could be interesting. But I won't give the full. We'll have a full QB talk at some point. I just think the things that, the biggest concern with Simpson is 1 year starting, right? But the things that you usually associate with a guy that has little experience, I think that he does at the level that a guy with, 10 career starts or whatever he has probably shouldn't be doing. Like the pre-snap stuff. Just I think he's a very, very smart player, and I'm getting the Simpson fever, man. I am. I can't lie. But we'll talk more about that when we do more QB breakdowns in the future. Special teams player of the year. This is tough. Not because there's
Kenny Nwangwu, open shut.
How is it not Nick Folk? He hasn't missed a kick. I mean,
I meant that. It's Nick Folk.
Literally, there's nothing more Folk could have done. He hasn't missed a kick. I think it's Folk, but it also could be McNamara, who's the best punter in the league. It also could be Kenny Nwangwu, who's the best kick returner in the league. Nick
Folk being able to make a Pro Bowl because he made it his first year with the Cowboys. He might make a Pro Bowl at 23 and 41. 18 years. That might be a record.
The Jets have a claim right now that they could have 3 Pro Bowl specialists in McNamara, Folk, and Nwangwu. That's crazy. That's insane. That's absurd. I don't think they all make it.
How did Nick Folk never make a Pro Bowl with the Jets?
Didn't he made 1 Pro Bowl in his career, right?
It was his rookie year with the Cowboys in 2007, and then he might make it now.
Wow. We got to start that. We got to get Nick. Jets fans.
I just hope it doesn't end up like Thomas Morstead, where we do that and then the play regresses, and then
Well, he got second. He got first alternate too, which is unfortunate. But no, we Jets fans got to do one thing this year, and it's get Nick Folk to the Pro Bowl. We got to rally behind that. A couple more here. Most underrated by the fan base. This is an interesting one. I have my pick, Mike. I forget who won. I think it was in the past. John Franklin Myers had won it. I forget who won it last year. My pick. I think it's Isaiah Davis. Maybe fans are starting to come around a little bit lately. I think Isaiah Davis.
Much, so that's
I've been very much, in the Isaiah Davis fan club for a while. I said in the summer I thought he was better than Braylon Allen. I absolutely stand by that. I think he's a more complete running back, and I think he's your best pass blocker. I think he is, if it's not Brees, he's your best pass catcher, and he just does all the little things. So I would give this to Isaiah Davis.
I mean, I don't hate Isaiah Davis. I still really don't think that people are appreciating what the two defensive tackles are doing, because they just see the run stuffing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't need to. I think they probably should invest one of those 4 top picks they have and maybe like a Caleb Banks kind of guy. Or
sure.
The tough part this year is this defensive tackle class is a lot of run stuffer. Christian Miller, Dominique Orange.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of run stuffers, but
even like Keldrick Falk, who's an edge, is a lot more of a run stuffer.
But like if I'm doing a mock draft, if Caleb Banks is there at 32, you think about it. Amari Washington's more of a run stuffer too, but you think about it, and then you get 1, 2, 3, those 3. If Phillips leaves, you have a natural replacement with Banks, and Briggs can just slide back in. That's immediately, I think, one of the best defensive tackle rooms in the AFC.
I agree. All right, we'll wrap this up really quick. I'm going to rapid fire the ones that I had. Just tell me if you disagree. Some of these are just fun ones, right? Because we gotta wrap this one out. But the Does This Person Even Exist award. This is actually, we've done this every year so far. Jelani Woods. Does Jelani Woods exist?
I was going to say Stone Smart, but
you could say either one. At least Stone
Smart had hype. Jelani Woods was like a cut down day pickup.
At least Smart is filling a crucial role on special teams. Woods isn't even active. Woods has been active, I believe, for 2 games, and he's played, I think, 1 snap, 2 snaps maybe.
Well, because every time he plays, he blows his leg up.
That's awful. That's awful. I want to see Jelani Woods.
Am I wrong?
All right. This is a new award that I created this year. I don't know if this guy is good, but I want to see him get the Baltimore Award. That goes to Arian Smith.
the Arian Smith Memorial Trophy.
The Arian Smith Memorial.
I think that he might have that his whole career with the Jets.
He might. Assistant Coach of the Year, I kind of already shouted out earlier. O-line coach Steve Hyden, I think, is my pick for that. The Shaquille O'Neal, I owe you an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game award, goes to Isaiah Williams. An apology, my friend. Was not familiar with your game. Look at what he's done.
We were ripping you to hell to high heaven.
The quote of the year. This was fun. There's been a couple of good ones. I'll say honorable mention goes to Aaron Glenn, who, when asked about the Jets' first half performance against the Bills, put it bluntly and said, "We're killing ourselves." But I think the winner here has to be Breece Hall's quote.
We shoot ourselves in the head.
Where he said, "Teams shoot themselves in the foot, and we come back and shoot ourselves in the head." That is definitely
then commit a murder-suicide afterward with the fan base.
Definitely my favorite quote of the year. And then lastly, just this one has to go out every single year. We've done this multiple times now. It's the namesake, Mike, the Director of Dysfunction Award. The Woody goes to Woody Johnson.
I don't like the word dysfunction in an award about the one. I don't like the word that word.
He's the Director of Dysfunction, and I think the moment.
Don't say it again. It gets worse.
The moment we point to this year is the.
Yeah.
The Woody for dysfunction goes to Woody Johnson. I didn't realize where you were going with that.
Justin.
That was unintentional. All right. the Woody for director of dysfunction goes to Woody Johnson. Thank you, Woody, for being the namesake.
Maybe one day Chris will win this award.
Maybe
the other Johnson will win
the other Johnson will win the Woody. Maybe.
And with that,
thank
you guys for tuning in.
Oh my goodness. This has been fun. I hope everyone has enjoyed our biannual Woodies. We'll be back doing this again. Hopefully, we won't have any Wi-Fi issues. Hopefully we'll be back in a normal setting, and we can, Harrison Phillips returned on a limited basis today.
Hey, maybe we only give up 150 rushing yards.
So much for that walking boot. Maybe we'll up the theatrics
may throw 4 incomplete passes instead of
Yeah, maybe next time we do our postseason awards, we'll Mike will dress up. Mike will get in a suit, and we'll get an actual. I'll shoot Jet Fan can donate some more memberships, and we'll get an actual Woody presentation. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. This has been fun. Mike, do you have any final thoughts before I sign us off?
Yeah, feel free, head honcho here.
Thank you all for joining us on the show today. You can follow Mike on Twitter at @ByMikeLuciano. Follow me on Twitter, Justin Fried. Follow the Jet Press at the Jet Press. Download the Jet Press podcast wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on YouTube and TikTok. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. You guys know what to do. We stream live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time and live immediately following every single Jets game. So we'll be live tomorrow night after the Jets probably lose to the Patriots. We didn't get to talk Patriots game, but there's not much to talk about.
They're going to get crushed.
We both expect a loss. Hopefully,
Drake May's going to throw for 1 billion yards, and Gronk's doing a halftime thing, and they're going to make fun of the Jets.
Yep. Brian,
you know how it's going to be.
Brian said Brees is 6th in the NFL in rushing yardage since diagnosing the Jets' suicidal play style. Yep. If you
want like a metal band name, Suicidal Play Style, that's a good.
That is a really good band name. You're so right. Wow, someone's going to take that. Anyway, thank you for joining us on the show today. I've been Justin Fried. That is Mike Luciano. See you guys next time.
Hopefully it's 3 wins in a row, but it's the Patriots, so not holding out hope.